This isn't a fairy tale anymore. This is a fallout, a slow-burning, headline-hungry implosion where ambition, money, and fading relevance collide, and at the center of it all stands Meghan Markle, staring at a life she never signed up for, and a husband who may no longer fit the plan. What began as the world's most glamorous love story is now whispered about as a calculated escape, and insiders say the countdown has already begun.
That Meghan has been going to a few parties recently without Harry, and he's been at home, and so
Harry is so much better on his own, and the evidence appears to keep adding up. Louise, is there more?
The digital world was so important to us because my wife in 2018 was the most trolled person in the world. There was...
From royal bride to Hollywood flop, that's the brutal phrase circulating behind closed doors. Meghan Markle, once hailed as the modern duchess who would rewrite monarchy history, is now reportedly done playing royal dress-up. Insiders murmur that she's hunting for her next big payday, her next power move, her next lifeline. And Prince Harry, the man who once made global headlines just by breathing, he's starting to feel like yesterday's news, a footnote, a fading accessory to a brand that refuses to die quietly. Once upon a time, this story had sparkle.
Or that anyone is trolled, so to speak. But when, like we said earlier in relation to the Wowsers, when you're in the public sphere...
When Meghan said, "I do" to Prince Harry, the world didn't just watch, it gasped. Cameras flashed like fireworks. Crowds screamed like it was a coronation. A Hollywood actress marrying into the most famous royal family on earth. It felt historic, revolutionary, a fairy tale so intoxicating people believed it had to last forever.
Harry's people, that he's got a couple of rooms somewhere in Montecito where they can go to and have a bit of quiet time away from Meghan and the children. One of them is supposed to be a bungalow.
Her diamond tiara sparkled like a promise of perfection, a flawless future, a new chapter for the monarchy itself. Paparazzi followed her every step. Magazines fought for her face. Fans swooned. Meghan believed she was stepping into castles, private islands, and a never-ending river of luxury. This was supposed to be the jackpot, the ultimate upgrade. But behind those palace walls, the fantasy cracked.
It does make me wonder because all signs point to some issues behind the scenes. I mean, professionally, they've had to separate. Their brand was toxic. They were practically...
Instead of a powerful prince with limitless resources, she got a man emotionally drained, detached from his family, and suffocating under royal expectations. Every public smile masked private tension. Every wave hid exhaustion. And here's the part no one warned her about.
Complex where he can go to and then relax after. There is also suggestions that Meghan has been going to...
Harry wasn't nearly as rich as the headlines made him sound. No billionaire prince. No endless vault of royal gold. His inheritance? Modest by royal standards. And once you step away from the firm, the perks evaporate. Meghan envisioned yachts. Instead...
America and the UK as well. So whether that travels into a separation for them, let's hope not, because there are two children at stake here. And they're both victims of...
without Harry... and he's been at home.
A Montecito mortgage became reality. Globe-trotting champagne dreams turned into budgeting, brand deals, and relentless scrutiny. The woman who thought she was entering a Martin fairy tale found herself starring in an indie drama, complete with backlash, criticism, and fading glamour. And for someone like Meghan, cracks aren't just flaws. They're unacceptable. Social media turned vicious. Former fans started asking uncomfortable questions. Critics sharpened their knives. But let's be clear, Meghan did get what she came for. The title, the recognition, the Netflix deals, the glossy magazine covers, the ability to walk into any room and say, "I'm a duchess."
It's going to happen about Harry and Meghan split rumors, but these rumors have been going around now. There is nothing of substance that I've been able to find.
Forced childhood, they've had the acrimony, they've lived through it themselves, and they won't want that for Lilibet and Archie either. But moreover to that, I really find that I'm seeing Harry and Meghan much happier professionally.
Mission accomplished. She even pulled Harry into her PR machine, making him co-star and co-signer in the Meghan Markle brand empire. But fame is fickle. And now the gloss? It's wearing thin. Hollywood elites roll their eyes. London society whispers behind napkins. The power couple fantasy is collapsing. Influence is shrinking. Projects are flopping. And the circles Meghan craves are murmuring one word she fears more than anything: desperation. She wanted a princess life. But princess lives don't pay Montecito bills.
The World Privacy Tour didn't quite turn out the way that we thought that it would, but so why is he bringing this up now?
Yeah, so this was the Nexus conference. Now, if you think back to a couple of years ago.
Harry, meanwhile, looks exhausted. Insiders joke he'd trade California stress for a quiet pub in London without blinking. Meghan, though, is restless. The freedom narrative has expired. And relevance? Relevance is oxygen. When it runs low, survival instincts ignite.
Beautiful pictures of Harry in Vancouver. The big smile, he's so engaged, and Arthur Edwards, of course, who's followed him.
She's networking relentlessly, scanning rooms, working angles, because the public moves fast, and she knows she must move faster. Rumors swirl, not of romance exactly, but of something colder, sharper, more strategic. A billionaire shopping spree, socially speaking. Whispers place her back in high-stakes waters where money flows like vintage champagne. Invite-only tech retreats, charity galas doubling as networking gold mines, Silicon Valley moguls, European telecom tycoons, global finance sharks. Every handshake is a calculation, every selfie a chess move. One name keeps surfacing in hushed tones, a tech billionaire who loves Hollywood proximity. Professional connections blur into strategic flirtation. In this world, proximity equals opportunity, and opportunity equals survival. But here's the brutal truth no one wants to say out loud. Meghan's brand is wobbling. Late night TV laughs at her. Instagram aesthetics get mocked. Remember the infamous pineapple clip? A simple fruit turned into a viral punchline. Memes exploded. Audiences cringed. Her Martha Stewart dreams dissolved into parody. Hours of footage reportedly scrapped for being painfully dull. Spotify cut the cord. Parcast fizzled. Inspirational talk turned into background noise. Every post now invites ridicule. Every misstep chips away at the image she worked so carefully to craft. Hollywood has officially started swiping left. Old allies, quiet. Oprah, silence. Power players who once opened doors now keep them firmly shut. Montecito was supposed to be her victory lap, the ultimate flex. Instead, neighbors whisper about the irony. Preaching sustainability while flying private. Curated perfection in a town obsessed with authenticity is social death. And Harry, he looks like an accessory, a supporting character. Public appearances show the imbalance, Meghan commanding the spotlight while Harry nods dutifully beside her. His confidence replaced by therapy jargon and awkward cameos. Friends whisper about isolation, about regret. He gave up a kingdom for freedom, and now he seems unsure who he is without it. Insiders say the tension is real. Arguments over money, over privacy, over the future. Harry wants stability. Meghan wants expansion. And when those two desires collide, something breaks. And that's where this story truly gets dangerous, because the whispers are no longer just gossip. They're planning language. Fresh start, individual branding. Next chapter. No lawyers spotted yet. But Hollywood knows the signs. Meghan doesn't see this as failure, she sees it as reinvention. And if she moves, the fallout will be seismic. And here's where the whispers turn radioactive. Because behind the smiles, the hand-holding, the carefully staged appearances, there's a new narrative forming. And it doesn't include forever. It includes leverage, timing, optics, exit angles. Insiders say the word divorce no longer shocks the room when Meghan's name is mentioned. It's not screamed, it's murmured, casually. Like an inevitability everyone's pretending not to notice yet. The energy has shifted. The marriage doesn't feel like a love story anymore. It feels like a holding pattern. Friends close to the situation claim Meghan has started speaking in solo language. My brand, my next phase, my future. Harry's name appears less often in those conversations. And when it does, it's framed like an obstacle, not a partner. Hollywood can smell reinvention before it happens. And right now, Hollywood smells a pivot coming. Behind the scenes, Meghan is reportedly recalibrating everything. Image, alliances, access. She's studying who still answers her calls, who returns invites, who sits her closer to power at dinners. This isn't romance. This is strategy. And yes, the billionaire rumors didn't come from nowhere. They started quietly. A glance here, a seating coincidence there, a shared panel, a shared cause. Powerful men with private jets, global influence, and balance sheets that make Montecito look modest. The kind of men who don't care about titles but love proximity to fame. Insiders say Meghan understands one brutal truth now. Status doesn't pay invoices. Liquidity does. The Netflix money isn't endless. The podcast era is over. Brand deals want numbers, not narratives. And without royal machinery behind her, every headline must now be earned the hard way. That's why the whispers mention tech moguls, finance giants, global players who don't blink at 8-figure expenses. Men who operate in boardrooms, not palaces. Men who can restore the lifestyle she thought she married into the first time. And Harry? Harry is not part of those rooms. He doesn't speak the language. He doesn't thrive in transactional spaces. He was raised to serve, not to sell, to inherit relevance, not hustle for it. And now, watching Meghan navigate those circles, something is breaking. Friends describe him as lighter when he's away from her, more relaxed, more himself. Old Harry, the one before branding meetings and crisis PR, the one who laughs without checking optics. But every time he steps back into the spotlight beside her, he shrinks. Publicly, they still play the part. Smiles, waves, carefully worded appearances, but insiders say the arguments are sharper now, about money, about control, about who sacrificed more and who's owed what. Meghan believes she gave up her acting career for him. Harry believes he gave up his entire identity for her. Both think they're the victim. And that's the most dangerous stage of all, because when resentment replaces affection, the marriage stops being emotional and starts being negotiable. The real shock? Meghan isn't afraid of the fallout. In fact, sources say she's already framing it in her mind as a power move, a narrative reset, actress to duchess to independent global figure, alone, unencumbered, and ready to level up. She's done it before. She believes she can do it again. But here's the irony no one escapes. Her greatest asset was the very thing she walked away from. Royalty wasn't just symbolism, it was infrastructure, automatic relevance, global curiosity on tap. The crown was a shield, a magnet, a multiplier. Without it, every move is judged on performance alone. And performance-wise, the numbers aren't kind. Hollywood insiders whisper that she's no longer seen as essential, just noisy, not powerful, just persistent. The empowerment narrative feels recycled. The authenticity feels curated. The mystique is gone. And yet, she keeps pushing. Because Meghan doesn't retreat. She replaces. Replace the story, replace the audience, replace the partner if necessary. That's why the divorce chatter won't die. Not because papers are signed, but because emotionally, strategically, the separation has already begun. Harry, meanwhile, seems torn between loyalty and loss. He still believes in protecting his family, in unity, in fighting through storms. But storms don't end when only one person wants shelter. Friends say he's starting to realize something painful. The life he destroyed bridges for may not exist anymore. No palace safety net. No royal return without humiliation. No Hollywood throne waiting either. Just uncertainty. And Meghan knows it. That imbalance, her ambition versus his vulnerability, is the final crack. Because power dynamics matter. And right now, Meghan holds the narrative pen. If she leaves as a woman choosing growth, reinvention, independence. If Harry stays, he stays as the man who followed her off the cliff. That's how the story would be told. That's how she'd want it framed. So what happens next? Insiders say, watch the timing. The optics, the branding shifts. Solo appearances will increase. Joint ones will feel forced. Language will change. Subtle distancing disguised as scheduling conflicts. When it happens, if it happens, it won't be sudden. It'll be staged, because Meghan doesn't exit quietly. She exits with headlines. And somewhere in Montecito, behind gates and PR statements, a prince may soon realize that the greatest gamble of his life wasn't leaving the monarchy, it was betting everything on being enough for someone who always wanted more. And when the next headline drops, the one everyone's waiting for, the world won't ask if this was inevitable. They'll ask who played who first, and whether the crown was ever the real prize, or just the opening move, or just the opening move, or just the opening move, or...